Welcome to Changfied YouTube channel, your trusted source for latest updates across South Sudan and beyond. Today report, we bring you a very important update about the situation in South Sudan. Several major developments have happened in the last few days. These include concern about the 2026 national election, new fighting in Jonglei state, change inside the government leadership, and financial controversy inside the Ministry of Finance, and serious human rights allegation related to the ongoing conflict in South Sudan. These events are raising many questions about the country's future. Many people are asking, will South Sudan finally hold election in 2026? Many people are asking, will the peace agreement survive the growing tension? And what will happen to civilians caught in the middle of the conflict? In this report, we will break down these stories one by one in simple terms, so everyone can understand what is happening. Before we begin with our first top story, I would like you to help the channel by subscribing, turn on the notification bell so whenever we upload a new video, you can be notified. Let's begin with the issue of the upcoming election. Concern over funding for the 2026 election. South Sudan planned to hold general election in December 2026. If the election happens, they will be the first national election since the country became independent in 2011. However, now, new concerns are growing that the election might face serious delay. A civil society leader named Edmund Yakani will lead an organization called the Community Empowerment for Progress organization, say the government must act quickly to release money for election preparation. According to Yakani, the institutions responsible for organizing the election are not receiving enough funding. These institutions include the National Election Commission, the National Constitutional Review Commission, and the Political Parties Council. These bodies are responsible for preparing the legal, political, and technical system needed to run an election in South Sudan. According to Yakani gave a warning. He warned that without money, these organizations cannot do their work properly. He explained that many important activities have already slowed down because funds have not been released by the government. For instance, election preparation normally includes voter registration, election logistics, training of election staff, civic education, preparation for voting center, and updating election laws. Without proper funding, these activities cannot move forward. Yakani say that the Ministry of Finance should immediately release the money needed so this institution can continue their work. According to a recent domestic observation report covering January to March 2026, the National Election Commission has only received about 4% of the total budget needed for the election. The number is extremely low. If the funding situation does not improve soon, experts say the country may not be ready for election by December 2026. Edmund Yakani also raised another serious concern. He claimed that some powerful political figure close to the presidency or President Salva Kiir Mayardit, these powerful political figure might not actually want election to happen in South Sudan. According to Yakani, certain political leaders benefit from keeping the current political arrangement and delaying democratic process. He even suggests that ongoing conflict between army group could be part of the problem because instability make it difficult to organize election. Yakani warned that if these issues continue, the current transitional government period could be extended once again. Many South Sudanese citizens have already waited year of election. The vote was originally planned for 2015, but it was delayed because of civil war and political disagreement. Now, the people are worried that the election could be postponed again. Yakani is calling on the government under President Salva Kiir Mayardit to release election fund before the end of March 2026 in order to keep the election timeline on track. But while concern about the election are growing, another major issue has also appeared, and that issue is renewed fighting in Jonglei state. Let's move on to our second top story, a new fighting report in Akobo. The security situation in South Sudan remains fragile, and recent report suggests that fighting has returned to Akobo town in Jonglei state. The opposition military group known as the Sudan People Liberation Army in opposition, SPLIO, confirmed that clashes took place after government soldiers entered the area. According to the opposition spokesperson Paul Maidang, their force made a tactical decision to leave the town before government troops arrived. Paul Mai stated that the withdrawal was planned in order to reposition their fighters. Later, fighting reportedly broke out between opposition forces and government troops. Paul Maidang claimed that the clash began at around 4 p.m. in the afternoon on Tuesday. He stated that government forces suffered casualties and were forced to withdraw from a part of the town. According to the opposition statement, SPLIO fighters are still positioned near the county headquarters in Akobo. However, the government is giving a different version of the situation. A spokesperson for the National Army, Major General Lure Kong, say government troops reached areas close to Akobo and were welcomed by the local county commissioner. The commissioner, James Makwach, reportedly met the soldier west of the town and welcomed their president. Because of both sides are giving different report, it is still unclear exactly who controls the town at this moment. The situation remains difficult to confirm because independent observers have not yet verified the claim. Earlier in the week, government forces ordered civilian humanitarian organizations and even United Nations peacekeeper to leave the area before planned military operation. The decision caused concern among international organizations. Aid group warned that forcing humanitarian workers to leave could put civilians at serious risk. Akobo is home to tens of thousands of people, including families who have already been displaced by earlier fighting. Many of these civilians depend on humanitarian aid for food, water, and medical care. If the fighting continues, the humanitarian situation could become even worse. But while security tensions continue on that region or on the ground, political tension are also rising in the capital, Juba. And that brings us to the next major development. Before we proceed, I would like you to ape Changfied YouTube channel by subscribing and turn on the notification bell so that whenever we upload a new video, you can be notified. President Salva Kiir Mayardit removed several government officials. Well, in another significant political move, President Salva Kiir Mayardit has dismissed several high-ranking officials from the government. The decision was announced through a presidential decree broadcast on state television. Among those removed from office was Moses Gat Kotsulong, who had been serving as a presidential advisor on peace matter. Long had been appointed to that role in 2023. Before that, according to the report, he served as a member of parliament and also worked in humanitarian role during the civil war when war broke out in South Sudan in 2013. He has now been replaced by another person by the name Peter Charleman Chawach, a politician with experience in the Upper Nile region. But the change did not stop there. 3 deputy governors from the opposition party, SPLM-IO, were also removed. These officials came from different states, from Lagos State, Unity State, and Eastern Equatoria. In Lagos State, Dr. Isaiah Akol Matiang was replaced by Isaac Luka Manga. Matiang had previously been arrested after criticizing military operation in the region. In Unity State, another person was removed by the name Tor Tungwar Kwegwang was removed from his position. A report said he fled into exile after the detention of opposition leader, first by President Dr. Riek Machar. He has now been replaced by William Gadjanging. Meanwhile, Mary Alphonsi Lodira, the deputy governor of Eastern Equatoria, was also dismissed. Her office had previously been closed by a security agent while she was receiving medical treatment abroad. She has now been replaced by Carlo Andrew Akwo Ajeri. Interestingly, the government did not explain the reason behind this dismissal. Under the 2018 peace agreement, the president has the authority to remove officials according to what been stated. However, political tradition usually require consultation with the political party involved. At the moment, it is not clear whether the opposition party approved these changes. This is especially complicated because the opposition SPLM-IO itself is currently divided into different factions. One faction is led by Oyer Nathaniel, who became acting chairman after the detention of Dr. Riek Machar. Another faction is led by the peace minister by the name Stephen Parkour. The ruling party has said it recognized the group led by Stephen Parkour as its partner in implementing the peace agreement. This internal division as it made the political situation even more complicated. But politics is not the only issue raising question in South Sudan right now. There's another, a leaked document has also sparked debate about government spending under President Salva Kiir Mayardit. A look at this false story. A leaked document raised question about government allowance. A leaked internal memo from the Minister of Finance has revealed that more than 200,000 US dollars were approved as a special allowance for senior officials. The document was written on January 29, 2026 by a senior minister official named Bidit Nyalden. At the time, the finance minister was Dr. Barnaba Bakchul. According to the memo, the money was intended to provide what the document described as leadership allowance for top officials in the ministry. The total amount requested was 205,000 US dollar. The breakdown include 25,000 US dollar for the minister, 20,000 for the deputy minister, 30,000 shared by 2 undersecretaries, and 100,000 divided among 10 director general. Additional payment include 20,000 for the head of a special unit, and 5,000 for security operation, and other 5,000 for police. The memo explained that the payment were requested because of the difficult condition faced by senior official. However, the document became public shortly after a major political development. In February 2026, President Salva Kiir Mayardit dismissed Financial Minister Barnaba Bakchul from his position. A few days later, security force arrested him near the Numile border while he was reportedly attempting to cross into Uganda carrying a large amount of cash. Financial controversies have affected the minister before. In earlier year, leaked documents show that government funds were used for personal and emergency expenses. These events have raised concerns about transparency and accountability in government spending. Many citizens are now asking how government money is being used while the country struggles with economic difficulties and delay public salaries. But the financial controversy is only one part of the bigger picture. International tensions are also rising. Let's proceed with the report. Uganda rejects United Nations allegation about bombing Nuer civilian. Another issue here, attracting international attention involve Uganda and its role in South Sudan under President Salva Kiir Mayardit. The Uganda People Defense Forces, also known as the UPDF, have strongly rejected a report from United Nations Human Rights Commission. The United Nations report claimed that Uganda aircraft may have taken part in air strike or in air attack that killed civilians during military operation in 2025. According to the United Nations investigation, some of these attacks happened in areas linked to opposition forces. Investigators say the bombing used an incendiary device that burned home and injured civilians. The report warned that if these allegations are confirmed, the attack could violate international humanitarian law. But Uganda strongly disagrees with these accusations. Uganda officials say the report is misleading and does not reflect the real situation on the ground. They insist that their military has never intentionally targeted Nuer civilians. According to Ugandan authorities, their forces are present in South Sudan to help stabilize the country and prevent violence in the capital city, Juba. Uganda has played a significant role in South Sudan security since the civil war began in 2013. During the early stage of the war, Ugandan troops helped protect the government and important infrastructure. Although most Ugandan forces later withdraw, military cooperation between the two countries has continued. Still, some international organizations believe foreign military involvement can sometimes make conflict more complicated. Because of this concern, the United Nations is calling for further investigation. And now, we move to the final and perhaps most alarming report. In this report, United Nations report serious human rights violation. According to this report, the United Nations Human Rights Chief Volker Turk said he is deeply alarmed by a new report of violence against civilians in South Sudan. According to the United Nations, more than 160 civilians have been killed in recent weeks. One of the deadliest incidents happened on March 1st, 2026, when at least 139 people were reportedly killed in Abiemnom. Another incident occurred on February 21 when government force, SSPDF soldiers, allegedly gathered North civilians by promising them food, aid, and then opened fire on them, killing 22 women and 3 men. Among the victims were women and young girls. There were also disturbing report of civilians being tied up and killed in another village. In addition, the United Nations say some community water sources may have been destroyed or poisoned by the SSPDF. Witnesses told investigators that around 99 wells were damaged or contaminated during military operation by the SSPDF. If true, this action could have devastating consequences for civilians who relied on those wells for drinking water. The United Nations also report that more than 280,000 people have been displaced since December due to fighting in several regions in Jonglei state. Thousands of civilians have recently fled from Akobo because they fear more violence. Volker Turk is calling for an immediate ceasefire. He said all parties involved in the conflict must return to negotiation and stop attacking civilians. He also urged the international community to increase diplomatic effort to prevent the situation from turning into another full civil war. The situation in South Sudan remains extremely complex. On one hand, the country is trying to prepare for its first national election in more than a decade. On the other hand, political tension, financial controversies, and renewed fighting are raising serious doubt about whether the country is moving toward peace or returning to instability. For many ordinary citizens, the biggest hope is simple: peace, stability, and the chance to finally choose their leader through democratic election. But whether that will become a reality, it will depend on decision made in the coming month. Well, if you are new to Changfied YouTube channel, I would like you to help Changfied to subscribe and hit the notification bell so whenever we upload a new video, you can be notified. We'll meet on the next report. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.